I'd like to call this meeting to order for the Finance Committee. Madam, would you please call the roll?
Mr. Smith. Here. Ms. Tanner.
Here.
Mr. Burke.
Here.
Mr. Bender.
Here.
Mr. Corbin. Mr. Strickland. We have a quorum.
Thank you. First is the monthly finance report. Annie?
Yes, ma'am. So once again, we've prepared a PowerPoint presentation for you to go through the monthly reports as well as the agenda items. And just, yes, for you, Councilmember Smith, I have a, a nice little screen there. I checked the numbers, they're rough. I don't know if you can tell yet, but I'm an animal lover, and so that's why we have all the things with the animals on them. So yeah, the numbers, they're not that rough, but I just thought it was cute. So we're going to go through the sales tax collections for Sales Tax District 3 and Highway 21. We'll take a look at the projected fund balances and the budget to actual as of October 31st. And then we have 2 operating budget amendments, a grants budget amendment, and a capital improvement budget amendment. So for the sales tax collections, we have the actual through September of 2025 for Sales Tax District 3 as compared to the prior 3 fiscal years. We continue to trend up for the collections. For the September collections, we were up over budget, and we were up over the prior year collections of about 8%, which is about consistent with what we've been seeing for our monthly trends for how much we've been collecting over the prior year. It's anywhere from 4 to 8% every month this year so far. So we're on track for where we thought we were going to be this year, which is about $4 million over budget. So we're still in that $79 to $80 million range for what we're projecting that St. Tammany Parish government will get in cash collections from the sales tax, which is about 4 to 5% over last year's collections of $76 million. Does anybody have any questions? All right. And then we have our sales tax collections for Highway 21 for September as well. And so actually for sales tax, for Highway 21 EDD, we were actually down a little bit for September. So that was a little different for us. We were down 1.6% from last year. This is the first full month that we've had that's comparable to last year since Costco came online. Since September was last year was the first full month of sales tax collections for them. So we were down about $2,000 compared to last year. We collected $118,000 in September this year and $116,000 last year. We couldn't find any one thing that was we could contribute the down to. It just seems like sales tax collections in the district were down overall. But we're still up in total, and we still are projecting that we're going to be about $400,000 above budget with collections of about $1.3 to $1.4 million overall in the district. Any questions? Yes, sir.
I think it's going to improve quite a bit now that the interstate's widened and completed. And it's coming at the right time, right for the Christmas spirit. I mean, the Christmas season and whatnot, shopping. I predict that October, November, and December are going to be record breaking. That's it.
All right, thank you. All right, so we can move on to our projected fund balances. So we have a slide for each one of our fund types. So for the general fund, we went through and looked at the budgetary fund balance where we projected that we were going to be based on the budget, as well as how we're doing on actual and then the projected for the remainder of the year. And so very similar to last month, we actually have no distinct changes from last month in our projections and where we stand. There were no significant differences, and we feel that we're in the same spot as we were last month on our collections and our expenditures to date. So we're still predicting that we're going to be about $1.9 million over our available budgetary fund balance at the end of the year, and that's what we're rolling to next year to be able to help fund the cost of state mandates, and that's already accounted for in the 2026 budget. Special revenue funds, of course, the largest fund is the Public Works Fund, which accounts for Sales Tax District 3. Still doing great there. We have our other funds for our ad valorem taxes. We received the grand recap last month. We should start to see our taxes come in December. The majority of the payments will come in January, and we'll be able to assess further at that point in time how those collections are coming in based on what the actual grand recap said. The remainder of the special revenue funds, the lighting districts, one of the amendments that we'll be proposing, and then we'll go over a little bit later, is to actually amend the budgets for the lighting districts for their revenues, because the interest income is under budget, and that's based on declining fund balances, increasing expenditures. We had last month proposed an amendment to increase the expenditures for their electricity costs. So we see that, that's trending down. We don't need to amend the 2026 budget at this point for the interest income, because we had already, when we looked at the 26 budget, projected those revenues to come down because we had saw the trends. The other thing from last month was we had taken a look at the criminal court fund, the fines and costs, because they were coming in under budget. But looking at those numbers with the 22nd JDC and the district attorney's office, they've been able to collect a significant amount for them for the asset and bond forfeitures. So it looks like we'll come in on budget or right underneath budget. So we'll be okay there. So we don't need a budget amendment for the criminal court fund. Debt service funds, once again, everything looks good there. We're making our payments this month for GOMESA for the annual debt service and the semi-annual interest payments. Enterprise funds, we're staying steady there on utility operations and development. Internal service funds, same information as last month. All right, so that's what I have on the fund balances and the budget to actual. If anybody has any questions on that.
Any questions? Thank you, Annie.
You're welcome.
Okay. Our first ordinance, calendar number 8013, ordinance to amend the 2025 operating budget, amendment number 18.
All right, so operating budget amendment number 18 is for basically two different things. One is for the library and Stark Council on Aging, and it is to increase the revenue and expenditure budget. When we propose our revenue and expenditure budgets for these agencies, we're really doing it based on revenue from 2 years prior. So the revenue budget for them for this year, for 2025, was based on the 2023 grand recap. So since we now have the current grand recap, we're able to take a look at what the projected revenue should be. And since we transfer all the revenues that we receive to these entities, those expenditures also increase. Specifically, we need to stay in compliance with the Local Government Budget Act that states that the governing authority is to adopt a budget amendment if there is an anticipated overage in expenditures greater than 5%. So since we expect the revenues to increase, the expenditures will follow suit and increase as well. So we're increasing the library fund by $430,000 in both revenues and expenditures, and Stark and Council on Aging by $230,000 based on the latest estimates from the grand recap. The other thing in this budget amendment, operating number 18, is for the lighting districts, and that is to decrease the budgeted interest income for several of the districts. These are the districts that don't have an active tax. We're decreasing the budget by $9,000 in Lighting District 1, $11,000 in District 4, $600 in District 5, $12,000 in District 7, $100 in District 15, and $1,200 in District 16. And this is overall due to decreases in interest rates, increases in expenditures, and decreases in fund balance, which has led to an overall decrease in interest income during the fiscal year.
Okay. Ordinance calendar number 8014, ordinance to amend the 2025 operating budget, amendment number 19.
All right, operating budget amendment number 19 is an amendment to the general fund. We are amending the budget for 3 items here. The first item is for the clerk of court's office. We are amending the expenditure budget by $35,500 to increase their computer budget for the partial purchase of 159 computers. This will allow them to be able to purchase about half of that, about 80 computers, as the existing systems are no longer compatible with Windows 11. The second item is for the district attorney's office to amend the expenditure budget for $10,000 specifically for the costs of the criminal court system, the cost of the clerk of the Supreme Court, the Court of Appeals, and the cost of extradition. And then finally, we're amending the budget for City Court of East St. Tammany. We're decreasing the expenditure budget by $35,500, and that's based on historical actuals and required funding as ruled on by the trial court.
Any questions? Okay, ordinance calendar number 8015, ordinance to amend the 2025 grant budget amendment number 11.
All right, grants budget amendment number 11 is for an additional grant award for Atmos Energy Assistance. It's for $10,000 to provide utility assistance services to low-income families that are also Atmos customers.
Okay, questions? The last one, ordinance calendar number 8016, ordinance to amend the 2025 capital improvement budget and capital assets amendment number 30, development capital projects.
All right, and our last amendment is for capital number 30. It's for the abandoned vessel removal. This is an amendment for $75,000 from the State Department of Treasury, and it is for the removal of abandoned vessels and derelict boats from parish waterways, including the removal of approximately 7 vessels in Salt Bayou. This project will include field surveys, prioritization based on hazard level, and environmentally compliant removal and disposal. This addition of $75,000 brings the total budget to $225,000. The original budget was $150,000 funded by GOMESA.
Any questions? Okay, do I hear a motion and a second to forward items number 9 through 12 to refer to the full council?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Any other items for the Finance Committee? If not, do I hear a motion to adjourn? Thank you. Sorry.